How's it going, everyone? I'm Pedantic Gamer. Today I'm looking at Far Cry 3. This is the PC release, so as always, some of the points I make may not be relevant to other platform releases, but I think they should be fairly similar. Now, the first note if you're playing on PC is mouse acceleration is turned on by default, and that's something I presume most people would definitely want to turn off, and as you can see, this game is absolutely gorgeous. But there does come a cost with that. It is extremely hard to run. For example, with the GTX 680, which is a 4GB model, I'm getting around 50 to 70 frames with everything maxed out outside of anti-aliasing. With anti-aliasing on, I get significantly worse performance, and there's no post-processing kind of anti-aliasing available like FXAA or similar, which is unfortunate because as a result there are a fair few jaggies. It's not a huge issue, but it would be nice given how hard the game is to run for other forms outside of MSAA to be available. Now, I haven't tried forcing it on in the drivers with NVIDIA Control Panel, but nonetheless, it is something that would be nice. Otherwise, the options menu is extremely nice. Now, I'm actually going to go to an outpost capture, which I'll just select now. And one of the things that, oh, it's over here, you'll notice in this game is, for the most part, you're fairly free to decide how you actually approach your objective. For example, I could go to this objective here by grabbing this boat, for example, or I could swim through the water, I could go around, well, I can basically go anywhere I want. It does seem like it's Far Cry 2 in that there's this huge map, but you can only access half the island until the second half of the game, and I don't know if you'll be able to get back, because when I actually come down to this area here and jump on a boat, I actually go out of bounds and it'll reload me up back into the boundaries, so it won't actually let me go down there yet. So that is a bit of an annoyance. Anyway, let's grab this boat. And one thing people will possibly dislike, and some people will like, I personally really do enjoy it, is the fact that the game allows you to approach these objectives in different ways, but that means there is a lot of time spent traveling between points. Now, once you actually take over one of these outposts, you actually get to hold onto it as a quick travel location. So, for example, this here is a quick travel location, and these are, of course, the outposts, and once you take them, you not only get that as a fast travel location, so you can at any time just double click and travel there, but you also get some missions like hunt animals or an assassination mission where you have to kill a certain person with a knife, for example. And there's definitely a lot to do in this game outside of the main mission. I'm not actually going to show any of the main mission in this video because I don't want to spoil anything, and I'm about probably 14 or 15 hours in, but there's a lot of content now. Right now I'm just doing a basic recon, and when they see you, it's kind of like Dishonored in that you get this bar that slowly starts to fill up, and when it fills up they actually can see you. Now right there is the alarm that I want to disable before anyone else can get around to it. Let's see who else is here. Now I might actually take this sniper out with a bow before he causes me any issues. Get the alarm off. Now what that does is it means they don't call in reinforcements. If you just go in guns blazing and they get to the alarm before you actually can disable it, it means you'll get a large number of people basically swarming in for a minute or two, which, given that I'm playing on the highest difficulty level, can be a problem. But let's see if I can basically do this without them. Oh no, they spotted me, but it's not going to be an issue. So as long as you're actually careful, these outposts are actually not very hard to take. I'll try and get a knife kill actually. Now there's actually a lot of RPG elements. For example, if this was another person here, I could actually do a knife kill on him, then pick up his knife and kill the other player with the other player's knife by throwing it. You can also throw rocks to distract people. And I'll just do a takedown, which is very fun indeed. And just loot for some, well, loot. Now there must be other people here. Ah, there we go. And as you see, there's constant XP that I'm getting for doing whatever. For killing, headshots get you 25. Interestingly enough there, I'm pretty sure that was a headshot, but it just counted as a body shot. And you get extra XP, for example, being undetected and taking the actual area. Look, these bodies for And then I'm going to go in here. And one of the very interesting things is how you can actually burn the actual environment. So once you actually light a fire, which one of the things I always have is a flare gun on me, and that allows you to actually burn people out, and you can set up traps as a result. Now, one thing I don't like is, for example, all this here. For example, if I want to sell this, I have to double click and sell. It's just a little pain in the backside, and you generally run out of things, area to actually hold stuff in your rucksack, which is annoying, which is essentially just your inventory. Now, whilst I'm talking about that, you can craft items. Now, for example, I went to medicine, you need to green leaf, I have no green leaves, so you have to actually collect that, and you can actually craft things like this. This is something that's extremely fun, the Endorphin Burst, because as you see, I have 4 health bars in the bottom left hand corner, and when you actually use that you get 8 health bars. Now they don't restore, you go back down to 4 once you lose that health, but for a small period of time you're basically a massive tank that can take a huge amount of damage. Now melee attacks generally take you down to minimal health anyway, very quickly, but it's not a huge issue. Now, one improvement of Far Cry 2, which is a game that I very much so enjoyed, is the fact that there's these other people around in blue. Now, basically blue is the good guys, or the people on your team who aren't going to kill you, at least at this point in the game, and the people in red are the bad guys. I don't know if that's going to change, or if they're going to try and flip it around, kind of like they did in Far Cry 2 to some extent. But it means you can actually be travelling around, and not everyone you see is hostile when you're actually moving around the island, which is definitely a nice change, because in Far Cry 2, no matter what you were doing, everyone was trying to kill you, and the outposts would immediately after, like, not even a minute, the enemies would be back there after you've wiped it out. That's one huge thing that I've liked that they've changed here. It was a massive flaw in the original game, and I understand why they kind of did it. It means that there's always a constant threat, but I mean, look at the size of this map. Look at all these outposts. Like, once you've taken all those outposts, you're going to have played for 20 hours, and you're probably wanting to move down to this other area, or you're wanting to, you know, go hunting, or you're probably going to be tiring of the game, because that's a lot to do, or you're wanting to start a new game at the very least. Now, it'd be very nice, given how many skills you can actually unlock, which I'll show you now, if there is a New Game Plus. I actually don't know if there is, and I actually haven't used all my skill points. I've got 8 left available, so Dual Death from Buff allows you to jump down and kill 2 enemies below you. I'll unlock that because that sounds like it could be some fun. And it gives you a quick tutorial with extremely compressed video. And boom, boom. And yeah. And every time you unlock something, you get a new part of your tattoo. And this here is probably what I think will make a lot of people not really care for this game. Now, I think this is probably the best FPS in terms of the single-player experience you can get. I'll cover the multiplayer in another video that's been released at the end of this year, partially because it's actually got some well, it's actually a decent length. For example, Black Ops 2, I finished that campaign in about 5 hours. Medal of Honor Warfighter, it took me about, what, 3 or 4 hours? I guess Borderlands 2 competes. Borderlands 2 is quite long, but I found that to be overly repetitive. And, ooh, let's have a look at this. This is another interesting dynamic. The people who are on my side have actually attacked these people. Stabby, stabby. But LMG to finish them off. Oh, I needed to use a knife. I didn't realize that was the guy I was hunting. And this is something I don't like. If you do fail the mission, it automatically loads you back. You can't actually fail. It just resets your progress, which is kind of lame, to be honest. It makes it that there's not enough consequences to your actions. And especially because I'm playing on the hardest mode, maybe there's another difficulty that unlocks once you actually finish the game on the hardest mode, but as it is, it doesn't provide enough of a challenge. And yeah, that guy after knife. Do I actually know? I wonder if I've got what I need to do this. I've got blue leaves. If I get 2 green leaves, I can. Is there any green leaves around here? Be nice if there was. I'd like to go in as a tank and just destroy everyone. And there's the notification bar. They're not particularly... they don't really notice you too much. You can run around quite a lot undetected. I might just go in silently again. and knife him. Might try and take out the tube over here, and then sneak up and knife the actual target and then throw his knife at him, if it'll let me. Try and distract him with the rock. Well, that worked. Maybe not. Now, one thing that is a bit annoying is the UI, which hasn't been too bad in this video so far, is extremely obnoxious. It'll constantly be reminding me of my objective, and it takes up a huge amount of the screen. One of the things I really enjoyed in Far Cry 2 was, for example, the map. I had to pull out the map. It wasn't there at all times. And it's not a huge issue, but it does take away from some of the actual... It doesn't draw you into the world as much as a result. Especially at times it feels like 50% of the screen has messages popping up all over it. There's always tutorials coming up, and there's no way to disable it. Now, there is a way to disable the crosshair. That's the only thing you really can disable. But outside of that, it's really somewhat limited. Now, I might actually just quick travel up to here, but it's not going to let me. Why isn't it going to let me quick travel? But it's kind of annoying, and yes, you can go hunting for goat skin or sharks. You can even hunt, and what that allows you to do is it allows you to, not the skills, it allows you to craft different things. For example, I've already unlocked all the weapon holsters, but if I go to wallets, to get the extended wallet I need to get 1 horn hide. I do not know where to get that. I'm guessing that's an area that's in the second part of the island, because it does look like there's 2 parts like in Far Cry 2, so I won't be able to get that yet. But munition pouches, heavy duty, I need, I've got 3 bearskins, I can craft this, so I'll do that so I can carry more ammo. And then, for example, I need a white belly tapir. I have no idea where I'd find that. Path of the Hunter quest, so I have to actually do a quest to unlock that. Now, as for the guns, which I actually haven't shown you much, they actually are kind of bland to use compared to what I was expecting. You're very easily able to shoot everything with essentially no recoil, which is okay, but given the story, it doesn't really make a huge amount of sense, and I don't really need this ghost skin, but it'll show the animation. And it's actually one of the reasons I think I use the bow so often, because there's actually a drop-off. For example, if I fire it over a long distance, it slowly goes down. I'm not sure how easily you can see that, but with the other side it actually shows you after 50 meters you're going to want to aim higher to be able to hit that target that's there. You'll have to aim up. And as far as I can tell, there's no bullet drop with anything else though, so it's just the bow. Also, the bow's just kind of fun to be able to silently take out everything without anyone ever noticing that you're there. And I'll heal myself up. Oh, I've only got 2 arrows left. I should change that. Now, if I can quick travel, I want to show you myself hunting a shark, because, I mean, hunting a shark is fun, but it doesn't seem they want to let me quick travel. Maybe I'll go here. It'll let me fast travel there. That makes no sense. It won't let me fast travel to certain locations at this point in time. I'm not too sure why. I haven't had that issue before, or at least I haven't noticed it. But that is indeed quite annoying. Let's grab some green herbs. Now I've actually got the horticultural skill, I think it's called, which allows me, every time I pick it up I get 2 of everything. Same with actual meat from animals. So I'll just create some of this. I need 1, I need 2 for that, so I'll create another medicine. Ooh, is there any more greeny green around here? No. What I will show you though is the glider. And that's one thing I do like, is the ability for it actually to show up on your screen. I wish it was an option so that, for example, this checkpoint that I've created wasn't possible, so you could play this game in a much more, I guess you could say, hardcore fashion without any UI, etc. That would be extremely fun, especially once you've beaten the game once. But as it is, it seems like there's a lot of content, but not a huge amount of reason to actually go back and play it again. So that's where the sharks are. So I'm going to look for a boat to go out and hunt the shark. And essentially what this game really has going for it is it allows you to basically go anywhere at any time, outside of the fact that there seems to be 2 parts of the island, but there's still a huge amount to do, and it takes up a huge area. So one thing it's not lacking in terms of the single player is... Ooh, that was not a very good landing. Is content. It has a huge amount of content, and given that on PC it can be easily had on Uplay for around $35 already, or even less. I think you can get it for $30 if you just get the basic edition, although it may be worthwhile looking into the other editions for the extra bonuses they give you, which I believe the deluxe edition also comes with Far Cry. It may have been limited to pre-orders though. I don't think I'm going to be able to hunt sharks, unfortunately. And there we go. Go talk to Buck. It's constantly reminding me about the main mission, even though ooh, there's a shark. I can hunt a shark. Even though I'm clearly not wanting to actually do that right now. And then I'll swim out and hopefully not get mauled by another shark in the area. And grab its delicious meat. Although I don't actually think I need shark skin for anything. It's just kind of fun to do. I might as well grab this blue while I'm here. And my rucksack is full again, which is annoying. A lot of the time you spend actually just dealing with that. Hopefully someone mods it on PC, so you always have a basically an unlimited inventory. That would be kind of nice to see, even though I know that would take away a lot of what is... for example, I was wanting something... Ooh, there's another shark. Maybe I'll grab this and hopefully not get mauled. Oh, yeah, my rucksack's full. Actually, maybe I'll go out here and get mauled by the shark so you see what it's like. My tempting fate, is it just going to ignore me? I think the shark's going to ignore me. Let's see. Whilst I'm swimming over there, I'll say some final points for this game. Its real pros is the environment. It is absolutely spectacular. There's a huge amount to do. And ooh, there's multiple sharks. And here we go, it's attacking me. And it's got a huge amount to do now. The gunplay itself could be better. There's just really not much to how you shoot the guns. You just aim where you want it to go, and this shark's probably going to kill me. Can I heal myself? Yes, I can. And let's get out of here before I die. There's not a huge amount to complain about, though. It runs well, it looks good. It is, well, I should clarify, it runs well given how much is on display and how good it looks. However, lower-end systems on PC may definitely struggle with it. Now, there are a lot of options, so I'm not sure how well it scales, but it's definitely something, if you don't have a very new or powerful PC, that you may want to check into, because it's definitely a game that you could be unable to run if your PC is a few years old, or at least you may not be able to run well. Now, the other thing I should address is, well, what if you didn't like Far Cry 2? What does this game do right that Far Cry 2 did wrong? Well, one thing it does right, of course, is when you're moving around the environment, there is more than just bad guys. For example, great timing, these guys here will not attack me, they're on my side essentially. Also, there is no weapon degradation. Now that's something I actually dislike. For example, in Far Cry 2, when your weapon was old or you picked up a weapon that was just bad, it would actually jam at times and you'd have to de-jam your gun, etc. And that's not present in this game, so all guns work extremely well. You can pick up a gun off a pirate and it works well. It shoots straight, and it's just, it takes away an element of the game that I really enjoyed in Far Cry 2. Now, on the plus side, when you're driving vehicles, there is no vehicle degradation. Now, this is something that was not well implemented into Far Cry 2. You'd be driving along, and every 2 minutes at times you'd have to stop and repair your vehicle, get back in your vehicle, drive 2 minutes later, get out of your vehicle, repair the vehicle again, and it was just a painful experience, and something I'm glad they removed. Although, oh my god, a tiger. Although I definitely can see why they removed it. I definitely wish that they had kept the weapon system in place, maybe tweaked it a little bit, so well, it's just a bit of annoyance, because at the moment there is not a huge need to actually go out and buy these different weapons, although you don't need to buy them. This tower here I've already captured. You actually unlock all the weapons you can, from what I've seen, by going to these towers. It also allows you to see everything on the map, as you can see here. The map areas, I've gone to all the towers I can, but down here I can't see what's there. For example, if I zoom in here I can see where the different animals are, but the areas where I haven't captured the towers, I cannot see. But it doesn't give you a huge incentive, is what I was saying, to actually make sure you're using your own weapons, which was something that was in Far Cry 2, because whenever you use just a mercenary's weapon that you picked up off the ground, if it looked like it was a bit dodgy, which they did like actually show degradation, it was rusty for example or similar, you would actually have, it looks like I haven't been here because the locks there usually smack it off, and it seems to have repaired itself. And I'll grab the zipline and zoom down. And it doesn't give you a huge reason to use these other weapons outside of the bow, which is silent of course, but outside of that you can pretty much just pick up whatever weapon someone has and use that, which is unfortunate now. The game is with its faults obviously, but overall I have been very impressed. It's definitely one of the better shooters, especially in terms of the single player that I've come across. I would like them to see, I'd like to see the artificial intelligence patch to be a little bit smarter at times. I'd also like to see a UI patch, so a patch to get rid of all the clutter on the screen essentially, because that will definitely be annoying on second playthroughs if you're the kind of person who's going to play through a game multiple times, because, well, it hasn't been, for example, it just popped up again, there's always these notifications popping up and I don't want to see these notifications. It's just kind of annoying. On the plus side, the wildlife acts very as you would expect. It, like for example, if there's a lion here and you're shooting your gun, it will attack you. It won't discriminate, it won't just attack enemies, it will also attack you. And that's very nicely done, but there are some faults that I would definitely like to see addressed. But overall this game has been a fantastic purchase thus far. I haven't finished it, so I can't say how well it's going to turn out. But as first impressions go, I've been incredibly impressed, at least with the single player. Anyway, I'll be back soon with some impressions on the multiplayer and co-op mode, and this game definitely looks like it could be a very full-featured package with, you know, a huge single-player campaign and an impressive co-op campaign, and from what I've seen, it looks to be a fairly good multiplayer component, although it does use peer-to-peer, which is disappointing. Anyway, this is Pedantic Gamer. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please consider giving it a like and subscribe, and I do hope to see you next time.